The Amador County Transportation Commission hired the Novo planning group as an environmental consultant. Let's examine this prime example of public-private partnership. The Amador County Transportation Commission, De Novo was hired by Amador County as an on-call environmental consultant for various projects, which will include a sustainable communities strategy. These people have been doing these plans all over these 110 ICLEI cities in Central California and in cities way beyond this. This is the prototypical public-private partner. The project is being prepared concurrently with a regional planning blueprint process. The project includes a cap-and-trade emissions analysis. That's happening in every ICLEI city anywhere in the country right now. Now, De Novo is just one of many planning organizations enlisted to bring in sustainable development. You can see here their mission is clear: economic, social, and environmental, the 3 E's again. Oh my, both their mission and their philosophy is the 3 E's of sustainable development. This is the face of the New World Order. The Sierra Nevada Alliance promotes the wild and scenic waterways with land trusts and watershed groups, pushing ICLEI's climate change campaign and promoting sustainable communities. The Sierra Alliance is coming down hard to restrict land as it works to meet its vision, which is to protect and restore the natural environment of the Sierra Nevada for future generations. Oh, and we've got to have sustainable communities. It's a sing-song, ladies and gentlemen. It's easy to identify those who are working to take down America with the language. Seeds for Sustainability campaign, working with Sierra communities to obtain collaborative, I always say that, collaborative on a vision for a sustainable community, blah, blah. This sounds good to a young person who has never been challenged to understand unalienable rights. Our freedom is being set up for defeat if people close their eyes to the approaching reality. Here's more, and if you go through these websites, you just find that it's the same language we've been seeing again and again. It's off that warm and fuzzy term sheet. We've got a copy of that at the back table if you want to take that with you. Locally, the Central Sierra Resource and Conservation and Development, the RC&D, is based in Jackson. They are following the Sierra Nevada Alliance's lead to restrict the use of private property. RC&Ds are coordinated by the U.S. Department of Agriculture. It's an important organization here because, let's face it, the Department of Agriculture owns much of the Sierras behind you. The goal of the Resource Conservation District is to promote sustained use and management. Well, they mean sustainability, because they're working with university extensions and all across the country, university extensions from land-grant-based state universities are implementing sustainability everywhere. You get degrees from these state universities in sustainability. But let's take a look at their partner, the USDA, which really calls these shots. The USDA is an active participant in sustainable development, making a sustainable difference, they say. They even acknowledge that the United Nations World Summit on Sustainable Development is the program they're following. They talk down here about USDA and partner agencies and federal sustainable development links, on and on. The Department of Agriculture is full bore into sustainability and has been now for nearly 20 years. Private property in Amador County is under a massive sustainable attack. The defense must and is rallying. Now, there's been a lot to absorb here today, so let me just recap to help that absorption. First, the Sierra Nevada Conservancy has brought regionalism to 22 California counties, encroaching on the independence of local elected government. The Sierra Nevada Conservancy and the Sierra Business Council exist to implement the Wildlands Network and the Smart Growth through the formation of public-private partnerships, all designed to promise a better, happier, and more prosperous life. But in reality, the program is designed to corral you into planned communities with enough rules, regulations, and restrictions guaranteed to wipe out the middle class. The Sierra Business Council and the Sierra Nevada Alliance are pushing ICLEI and the climate change campaign as justification for abolishing an owner's determination of the use and enjoyment of private property. This area is about as saturated as it can be with regionalism and sustainable development. The youth are being prepped for global citizenship, and the effort is working. In polling, we learned last year that a majority of 2009 high school and college graduates identified themselves as global citizens, not as Americans. Sustainability is being jammed down every youngster's throat. The future is at risk. Here in Amador County, the Unified School District has taken particular attention to an organization called CREEK. The Delta Sierra CREEK is an organization focused on climate change presentations for high school. They have a Forestry Institute of Teachers, which is a special opportunity for K through 12 educators. I've seen examples of this kind of stuff, and it is really mind-blowing. To think that adults as teachers could go to these courses and buy this stuff, but they've been prepped to be able to do this, and then they bring it back to the classroom, and your children become lost in the maze. The children are being scared. The children are being indoctrinated, and they are ultimately to be culled in accordance with their usefulness to the New World Order. This is not a plan any of us want to subject our children to. The school system is indoctrinating our children into global citizenship through a commitment to globalist ideology. They are not being taught the values of the American experiment, so why is it that we continue to succumb as parents?
That's right.
Our response needs to be to understand and recognize sustainable development locally and spread that understanding to others. We are not going to be salvaged by any existent political organization unless it's a true grassroots feeding from the Tea Party, the kind of Tea Party you have here in the Gold Country. Average Americans must understand and act to restore their area as the land of the free. There is no profit or power in sustainable development's exposure. There is only freedom for you, for me, and for our children. So consider what's been illustrated here today. Regionalism, the Wildlands Network, smart growth, public-private partnerships, sustainable communities, sustainable ideology, and education for global citizenship. Agenda 21 people are organized even as their active drones don't know what they're organized around. Agenda 21 shows itself everywhere you look. Do you think our politicians and bureaucrats are serving us? I don't, but there are some exceptions here in Amador County. America is being transformed. Today, the pace is increasing, and the transformation objective has become clear. It is globalism. 1,000 points of globalist darkness are descending upon us. If we understand Agenda 21's action plan, we can work to restore liberty without fighting 1,000 battles. Cut off Agenda 21, sustainable development at its head. Defeat local implementation of Agenda 21. And so what happens if people do nothing? Well, America becomes the land of the collected and home of the enslaved. Your region will become a local outpost coordinated to control and depopulate humans. Oh boy. So what is it that you can do? Think locally. This is where freedom will be won or lost. Here are 6 suggestions. First, recognize and resist the trend to replace local political boundaries with regional governance. That means get rid of the Sierra Conservancy. Recognize that this form of government leads to a breakdown of accountability to the citizenry. 2, refuse local government receipt of federal or state money for new sustainable programs because they breach the American system. They breach the American system of federalism and they raid the Treasury. Withdraw from established sustainable development programs. 3, avoid local government partnerships with the federal government, with NGOs or foundations or corporations that advance the anti-liberty sustainable development agenda. Do not surrender your town or county to the insider privileges of sustainable developers and their moneyed interests. 4, understand and enforce the role of public officials in your community to administer government in a manner that protects individual liberty and ensures equal justice. 5, know and understand the Constitution, to which your elected officials swore an oath, with particular attention to Article 1, Section 8, the 9th and 10th Amendments, which address the limitations on federal power, and the 14th Amendment, which limits the state's police power. And 6, I've had to change my speech text for Amador County. Clean up the ICLEI mess they left when you threw them out of town. Visit freedomadvocates.org to study the ICLEI primer, the consensus process, and Agenda 21. Study your own regulatory and statutory codes and begin to determine what came from ICLEI, what promotes Agenda 21, and get rid of it.